Welcome to Frenzied Printing. My name is Becky. I'll be your host. Let's get into today's video. Let's talk about painting in the slicer. This is the Anycubic neck slicer. This model here is just a creepy mermaid doll, and it looks like if you look over here in the objects list, there's only one object. So this item is going to have to be painted manually, and I'll tell you what I mean about manually in just a moment. Let's take a look at this other model. It's a very flexible stingray, and this one, all one color as well. In the objects list, each object of this model is separately listed. Okay, so this is ideal. It's not always going to happen in a perfect world. That would be amazing, but unfortunately it doesn't always happen. So for this one, it's going to be fairly simple, where you can actually come in here and change the color of each object. Not sure if I like the black and blue. Well, you know what? Let's leave it. For eyes, we're going to go with white. And you can either double click this box like I just did and a little drop down will come open, or you can right click it and select change filament. So that's your other option. So let's say I wanted these spots to be a different color than what I have listed here. I'm just going to click the plus button and then click on the color, like the number, and I can select a different color, maybe orange. Let's see, let's color the dots orange. Cool. Now, something that you could try on a model like this is you could try splitting it. If you right-click your model and click Split to Objects, you might be able to split your model into multiple objects, which can be colored individually. So that's another option. Each piece might not be exactly what you were hoping it would be. Like, if you were hoping the eye was separate from the head, it might not be. The head might just be all one piece. You know what I mean? So that might not work out for you, but it might, especially if you want each of these little chains to be a different color. So getting back to this creepy mermaid doll, let's show a little bit of manual painting in the slicer. So I have some colors, just random colors I dropped in here. And if I wanted to paint, let's say, her eyes black, first you have to click on the doll and then click on this paint bucket at the top. You can pick from your loaded filaments up here. So I'll pick black. The first tool we can see here is a circle tool. The circle tool will paint using the shape of a circle on your model. This widget right here, you can slide left or right, controls the size of the circle. If you want to erase what you're painting, you can hit the Erase All Painting button. If you want to erase just your last click, use the Undo button. When you use the Erase All Painting, it will erase all the painting from the entire object. The other thing I want to talk about is this Select View or Selection View widget. Looking at this model, and it goes by your camera angle. So this is the way that I'm viewing this is from the left side of her face. If I need to cut away some of the model so I can see some of the interior parts, I can do that and paint them. It helps make things accessible that were not accessible before, so that may have been obstructed view from the model itself. Very handy tool. If you have it sliced away like this, and then you rotate your view and you keep slicing it away, it's going to keep going in that same direction until you hit this reset direction button, and then it will reset based on your new view angle. So now I'm looking from the top of her head down, and when I slide this bar, it's going to now cut away from this angle. So whatever angle you're viewing it at. This is really helpful when you're printing something that's maybe print in place, and it has like little flexible or movable hinges. Maybe it's like a head that has teeth inside or a tongue inside, and you want to paint the tongue red. You can use this selection pane to cut away some of the head of the model so that you can get to the tongue and paint it red. All right, so that's the circle tool. The next tool in the paint tool kit is a sphere. A sphere will also paint in the shape of a circle. The triangle tool paints in triangular shapes. So meshes are made up of triangles. That's why we can't really get a perfect sphere in 3D printing, but you can get really close by putting together a whole bunch of triangles. So this, you can, with this tool, hold down your mouse button and drag it around, and it will paint everything that you dragged over. If you go too fast, it'll skip a lot of area. That's the triangle tool. The layer height tool or height range tool, it paints in all the way through your model at a specified layer height. So right here is the slider widget bar. You can slide it left and right to control how thick this paint bar will be. Very thick versus thin versus very, very thin. This painted all the way through my model. Every single area inside and out that is at this height. This view. So see, now we can see inside the model's head. You could see even in there it's painted. It's going to paint the infill. It's going to paint everything at that height. Handy for when you have something like a sign that has raised lettering and you want the raised lettering part to be, you know, one color versus the back plate of the sign to be a separate color. This fill tool is going to be what you'll use for the most part. This defaults at like 30, and you can type in this value box if you're trying to slide the bar and it's just taking you too long to get it to the exact right amount. You can just click and type. If it's at 30 and I click the eye black, it makes the entire object where it's touching black. That's because the edge of this eye has an angle, and I don't know exactly what the angle is, but when you slide the bar down, you can see an outline basically before you click of how much it's going to paint. So if I wanted to do 2, I can see how much of this eye it's going to paint at 2. If I could change it to 3, it paints most of the eye and just leaves a couple of white specks here and there. 10. 10 is the sweet spot for this eye. Once I click it, it's going to fill in as much as it can. There are some gaps here. You can try to use gap fill. See how those gaps just disappeared? And this also has a sliding widget tool that will help you select exactly how much of a gap that you want to fill or leave. So that's a handy way to fill those in. You could also just click on the circle, right, and just drag it over that area. I know I went ham and it went outside of the eye, but that's another way to fill it in. The other thing I want to mention about the fill tool is the edge detection. If you turn that off, I'm trying to think of a good example of when to turn off edge detection. I think it's when you want your entire model to be colored from one edge to another that's already been painted. So you can see I painted here and I left a gap. So if I wanted to just fill this gap in with another color, I could pick another color, then turn off my edge detection and just click. So from one painted edge to another painted edge, it'll fill it in without any gaps. So that's edge detection. I can slice this so you can see how it looks. I'm going to just drop on a sphere in here. We already used the fill. I'll throw on some triangle painting. Just want you guys to be able to see the depth of how deep the color goes for each of these tools. Okay, so I repainted it a little more simple. Here is fill, sphere, circle, triangle, and layer height painting. So it's a little bit of everything. And let me just move our slider bar down and slice through here layer by layer. And you can see how deep these color sections go. So sphere and circle are almost exactly the same. This fill over here filled like basically the whole shape, the internal part of the shape, just the surface, not the walls or the bottom or anything. All right, so I forgot to show you the triangle. Hold on a second. Let me scroll back up to it. On her chin, I put a little triangle painting right here. So that's how deep it goes for triangle painting. Just so you can see. So I went ahead and colored this model the way that I kind of like. And yeah, I think it came out cute. Painted this with all the tools and methods that we just talked about. Okay, so here's another thing that you should probably notate. When you fully paint a model like this, where it's a little bit complicated and it has a lot of colors, you're going to have a long print time. It's 14 hours, 47 minutes if I want to print this model with these colors. It's also going to cost, looks like a total of 54 grams of plastic. That's for the model plastic. This does not take into account the amount of plastic that is going into the garbage. This color is going to change 588 times. If I switch back over to this model and strip away all of the painting and have them at the exact same scale, we can see that it shows only 48.7 grams of plastic. 48.7. This one that is going to change colors 588 times is reporting a usage of only 54.53. What's that a difference of? 6? looks like the number of colors. So maybe they added 1 gram per color to our total. It is not possible that this is going to be an accurate representation of cost. So in an effort to keep these videos a little bit shorter, I will be creating another video to discuss the true cost of multicolor printing.
Luna the shop mascot says, if you're enjoying this content and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.